Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today we are back jumping into the historic meta, as always, with how viable is control in historic. And we're going to be trying Andrew Cuneo's list from the championship that just went past over the last weekend. We're going to be trying the blue-black historic list that he played. I thought it was really interesting. We don't play historic. We don't play blue-black very much in historic. We're normally on that Azorius. I think we play blue-black a little bit, but we normally stick to Azorius, Jeskai, even sometimes Grixis. But it's going to be really interesting to take someone else's list and see how that does when it's climbing the ladder. I'm going to keep this intro really short, and I'm not going to go over all of the cards. You guys can see them. There'll be a deck list down below as well in case you just want to download that to Arena and give it a shot for yourself. But because it's Andrew's list, there's no point in me going into depth in it. I can sort of make some assumption as to why he has included some of the cards he has included. Probably pull up the sideboard, but ultimately I don't know the exact rationale for that, so it's probably best for me just to keep the speculations to myself, as they're probably quite similar to yours. If you're here watching Control, you're probably either a fan of the channel or something, and you like watching Control on here, or you're familiar with what all of these cards do anyway, so no need for me to spoon feed you. But like I said, we're going to be running Andrew's list. We're going to play each game back to back. We're going to be going through the league. The season's just reset, so we're in silver/gold. I can't remember where we are. So obviously take everything with a little pinch of salt, but we're going to see how well his list is when climbing the ladder, because we know how well it did in the championship, if you guys all saw that. If not, go check out highlights and things like that. It was really interesting to watch. It was fun. But yeah, we're going to jump into a few games. Like I said, back to back, we will show all of the misplays and all of the games, no matter sort of how they pan out. And hopefully we'll get 5 games in there, but we'll see how it goes, because sometimes games are super grindy, and I don't know if you guys want to watch really long videos or not, because I notice a lot of YouTube content creators on YouTube that do Magic tend to make the videos shorter and shorter, either via editing or playing best of one or something like that. So let me know if you guys want to watch them longer videos, because I'm more than happy to play 5 games. It just might take a little bit longer. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to shut up now, and I will see you at the end with the wrap-up. Okay, so we are back in Historic with some more best of 3 Control. Today we're playing some Dimir. We're actually playing Andrew's list from the championship that recently surpassed over the last weekend. And did pretty well, actually. But we'll see how it does when climbing the Historic ladder. And the season's actually just reset, so we're in silver at the moment. So we'll see how it does climbing the silver part of the ladder, and yeah, go up, and maybe revisit it when we get to platinum again. But anyway, let's jump on to our first game of our set of 5. What do we think of this hand? I think this is just about keepable. We could mulligan this hand in the hope for a better land situation, but it could always end up worse. And tap land into push/censor is okay, so we'll give this a shot. Maybe it's correct just to mulligan these hands away. I mean, one of these Shadow's Verdicts is going to be useless. Might be really relevant, but there's a good chance that both of them could be useless as well. Though, maybe our opponent don't often see... Oh, okay, so Shadow's Verdict is going to be quite good. I think we might just cycle this Censor away. Really want to make sure we hit our land drops. And I'm not too worried about censoring a Dread Wanderer. We have more than enough removal spells. Okay, sweet. So we are hitting our lands, and that's excellent. So, yeah, Shadow's Verdict's going to be coming on time. I wonder if we just want to foretell this, actually, and then just go for push. Feel like we just don't want to mess around here. Just protect our life total. We don't know what our opponent's on yet. They could be on Mono Black Devotion, in which case we need to keep our life total as high as possible. We don't want to get Grey Merchant down. And really happy here we protected the Behold. Though I assume our opponent's going to take a Shadow's Verdict and then possibly go and take the other one. Okay, so I think we're just playing this Fetid Pools out and then Beholding. And we are running Four.Vs, so there's a good chance we... Well, I mean, we should probably Behold now since there's other stuff we could do. Saw it coming and Censor. Counterspell is probably going to be okay. You can probably put the Censor at the bottom. Though, I guess next turn, if our opponent plays 1 for it to play around the Shadow's Verdict, then we have Eliminate and Saw It Coming. So, probably can keep the Saw It Coming, but we'll bottom the Censor. Yeah, and just play this Fetid Pools out. Could have played Island, and then we have the option to Eliminate. But I think this is fine. We get to Eliminate next turn and Saw It Coming. Or if our opponent decides to extend a little bit more into the board, then Shadow's Verdict is going to be good. Okay, yeah, so we've got Eliminate. A little bit annoying since this Midnight Reaper is going to get a little bit of value when it dies. I wonder if we just want to take the hit here, see if our opponent extends any more. Like to get some more value off the Shadow's Verdict. And if we cast Shadow's Verdict, it's going to exile the Midnight Reaper, so they're not going to be able to draw a card. Okay, so opponent's just going to let it go. I wonder if we do just want to eliminate here. We could activate Field of Ruin as well. Think I don't mind activating this. If we draw Search Rascanter, then it gets a little bit better. Don't think that decision matters too much. But yeah, I think we are just going to eliminate here. I mean, it feels kind of bad, but our opponent's obviously not going to extend any more into the Shadow's Verdict. They do get to draw. Okay, Vraska's Contempt is a good one. So yeah, probably just tap land here and then Saw It Coming, Vraska's Contempt. So what we're missing here is some card advantage. Could really do with Search Rascanter here. Yeah, I think that's fine. Don't really want to Saw It Coming that. And are we going to Vraska's Contempt this, or are we going to Shadow's Verdict? Could just do neither. Our opponent can start exiling our graveyard, but apart from Search Rascanter, it doesn't really matter that much. And our opponent's a bit constricted on mana at the moment. I guess we'll cycle first. Okay, not much. Yeah, so our opponent's a little bit constricted on mana, so I doubt they're going to spend the time to activate this. And we need to make sure we get max value out of our cards at this point, because our opponent has 8 cards in hand currently. Okay, Etherborn. So opponent knows about the Shadow's Verdict. They're just going to extend a little bit more, though. Make us pull the trigger on this. And I think this might be the turn we do this. Yeah, I could see this now. We can Shadow's Verdict, hold up Contempt. Slash Saw It Coming. And then if we Contempt in the end step, then we get to play Narset into an empty board with Saw It Coming open. So it's probably just to play... Wait, no, we can't. We need 1 more mana to make that work. So we can Shadow's Verdict with Saw It Coming up. I think we want a Shadow's Verdict here. Okay, and our opponent doesn't have any more information. I mean, we could just play Narset now. I think I like holding the Narset, and then we don't leave shields down this turn. Our opponent could play something really potent here. Glint-Sleeve Siphoner, it dies to like Fatal Push. We have like 2 of them left in the list. We have other things. We have the mana to Narset and Vraska's Contempt next turn. Yeah, let's let it go. Maybe it's correct to counter. But yeah, I'm just going to play Narset here. Censor still has quite a bit of value. Yeah, we'll shock so we can Vraska's Contempt and Censor if we want to. So opponent's like constricted on mana, so Censor's still good. And we'll do this now, because we'd like another down tick from our Narset if possible. And if our opponent attacks, then they get the energy. Opponent could have like an Eliminate here, that would get around Censor. But I think we're just happy to cycle this if we need to. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna cycle this now. I know our opponent's constricted, but they're playing around Censor because they know about it. Ooh, Sublime Epiphany's a good one. We'd love a Torrential Gearhulk to go with that. Shark Typhoon's good. Opponent's going to really struggle to answer a Shark Typhoon, so I think we're just going to get this down. Sublime Epiphany, return a thing, copy a creature, sure. Yeah, I think we're just going to get this down. I doubt our opponent's going to be able to stop a Shark Typhoon. Could cycle it, go for max value. We're sitting on quite a comfortable 15. Okay, so opponent did find their 4th land drop. So if we saw it coming, I think we are going to saw it coming, just because we get the 3/3 Shark, and we'll have another counter spell available next turn with Sublime Epiphany, and it's really unlikely our opponent's going to be able to double spell on a turn. Could even like Sublime Epiphany counter their thing and then bounce back the Gifted Aetherborn. Yep, so no reason to lay out the land, I guess. Maybe, I mean, 6 mana. If we played the land, we'd have 5 mana after we Sublime Epiphany. We'll see if we get punished. Okay, so opponent's just deciding on what they want to do, and yeah, they're going to go for Rankle, but yeah, it works out pretty well for us. So target non-land permanent, and we'll draw. Yeah, and Sublime Epiphany is going to be real good here. Like I said, if we find a Torrential Gearhulk, it's just going to be even more filthy. But sweet, yeah, closing away the game. So I guess it looked like our opponent was just on mono black. Didn't really see anything special that's like indicating that they're on Devotion, though they were stuck on lands for quite a while. So, I don't know. They might run like more of an aggro list, so maybe we want more removal. Shark Typhoon looks like it's going to be a problem for our opponent to answer, and we can also just cycle it to get a little bit of value. Looks like our opponent's like whole board died to Languish. I don't think Negate's that great here. Cling to Dust, not relevant, really. I still like Commit to Memory with like Narset and Torrential Gearhulk. I don't think we need to change that very much. If we're bringing in the Languishes, maybe we want to cut the Vraska's Contempt. But Vraska's Contempt is an instant speed removal spell. Maybe cut like Eliminate. Not sure. We're just bringing in the Languishes basically. Maybe we don't need all of them Languishes and we can just bring in an extra push, since the most expensive thing we saw from our opponent there was a Rankle, and push can still hit that. But yeah, having 5 board wipes. I mean, we can go 6 and 7 if we want to, if we see a load of creatures. But hopefully 5 board wipes and then like 2 contempts and 4 pushes will be enough interaction for this. So we got the old 7 lander. So against like a Four.Vs deck, this is okay, but I mean, we can't plan for anything with this sort of hand. We can cycle the Fetid Pools, but I think this has to be a mulligan. Yeah, we'll keep this. And I guess we'll just put one of these sensors on the bottom. And then tap land, play a land. I mean, we could keep one of these sensors and maybe put the Torrential Gearhulk on the bottom. And then plan to cycle a sensor turn 1, and then turn 2. We can actually cast a sensor. Since we're a long way off Torrential Gearhulk, and there's every chance we'll find more of them off of the Behold. Yeah, I'm sort of incentivized to shock here because we top deck Search for Canter as well. We got all of our things we can do on turn 2 actually, so really want to use our mana as efficiently as possible here. Ooh. So opponent's got a good form of card advantage there. Though, against this list, I don't think our opponent wants to fall too low just because we have Shark Typhoons and things to close the game. And I think we're just going to get down this Search for Canter. put down the other Ixalan legendary enchantment. We'll see which one performs better. Ah, so opponent might be stuck on land drops here. I wonder if they're skimping on land since they were stuck in the other game as well. I think we can graveyard a Shark Typhoon. Just want to hit lands. I mean, this turn we're holding up Censor, I guess. I think we'll graveyard this and just try and transform Searchers Canter. Oh, good thing we did graveyard here since another one straight off the top. So yeah, we'll hold up Censor or push. Yeah, 2 cards in graveyard so far. Could hopefully be put in a position where we can push and cycle the Censor. Just try and fill our graveyard as fast as possible. Okay, so yeah, not going to be able to censor that or Fatal Push that. So we're going to let that go. And yeah, probably just going to cycle here, try and hit lands. Yeah, I think that's fine. This allows us to cycle Shark Typhoon for 2 to trade with the Midnight Reaper if we want to. Our opponent will get to draw a card, but we already get the value from Shark Typhoon. And it's sort of edging our way towards flipping Searchers Canter. So it's sort of breaking even with card advantage. Don't have a removal spell here. Shame we can't Fatal Push as well. Okay, opponent does. So I guess like Fable Passage is a good draw. Some way to trigger Revolt. I mean that's excellent as well, yeah. Perfect way to answer the Midnight Reaper. Gain us a little bit of life, make up for that swing. So when our opponent gets to 5 or less life, they may transform this and then they can sacrifice creatures to gain life equal to their power. Yeah. Toughness. So we are tapped down, see what our opponent's got. They know we're running counter magic from game 1. So this is their opportunity to resolve something if they'd like to. And yeah, Gonti's a good one. A load of goodies they can hit. Yeah, just keeping another Vraska's Contempt. We have 5 cards. Vraska's Contempt will be 6. Yeah, I see no reason why not. Good answer to Gonti. A little bit concerned off what our opponent got. Got obviously Torrential Gearhulk, Shark Typhoons, the one of Sublime Epiphany, Narset. There's a ton of things our opponent could hit. Definitely going to Vraska's Contempt in the end step. It's probably something we have to counter instead. Really want to Vraska's Contempt this Gonti, but yeah. Don't want to let Phyrexian Arena resolve. It's going to be a pretty steady stream of card advantage for our opponent. So opponent... Okay, they're cracking the Fable Passage now. I was going to say opponent has not cracked this Fable Passage in a little bit. Okay, so I put a stop in our upkeep in case we wanted to Vraska's Contempt to flip the Searchers Canter, but this is a perfect opportunity. Just going to push this Glint Sleeve and then we can flip. Land drop. So we have 6, 7 with Searchers Canter, 8 would be Vraska's Contempt and Behold. And we go to 9. No, I think we'll draw lands naturally. So probably gonna put one of these Beholds in Foretell and then hold up Vraska's Contempt or just cast that. Our opponent might think this is a Saw It coming as well. Haven't found any of our board wipes yet. Not that they're particularly good in this situation. Yeah, it's worth noting. I don't think we need to bring in the extra 2 board wipes. Opponent can have that. So probably go just for the more expensive Behold. Don't need either of these. I mean, Field of Ruin is a good answer once our opponent flips their enchantment, but it's not really that pesky. Okay. So if we were to play this out, we'd only have 2 mana left, which I mean is enough to Behold, which would trade with the Gonti or just eat the Murderous Rider, which is okay. And then we sort of put our opponent on a really fast clock to answer the Shark Typhoon. Equally, it's probably better just to cycle Shark Typhoon, hold up Saw It Coming, and Vraska's Contempt. Since we can cycle Shark Typhoon and like eat the Murderous Rider and then still hold up Saw It Coming. So yeah, if we do this for free, we'll still have 3 mana left up. It's a shame if our opponent has Fatal Push here. Okay, opponent has another Murderous Rider. Do we counter this Murderous Rider? I think we're happy to counter it. We could just let this go, take 2, fall to 5, and then I guess we're dead to like a Grey Merchant. Our opponent can't do it this turn. And Behold maybe looking for Languish to clear the board. And then we'd Languish and still get to hold up Saw It Coming next turn. If we counter it, our opponent doesn't have a free Murderous Rider later on. I think we can let this go. I think since we've got 3 Languishes in the list and we haven't found one yet, our opponent could have put one on the bottom of Gonti. But yeah, I think just digging here is better. And worst case scenario is we could just Vraska's Contempt something and then hold up Saw It Coming still. Yeah, board wipe's looking really appealing. Yeah, bottom both of these. I mean, we should find one of our 5 board wipes at some point. Looks like not just yet, though. So Narset is a little bit cheaper than activating Search Canter. And there's Languish, and I think we do go for Languish. We will have time to find a Shadow's Verdict later on. We want to answer this Gonti at the same time. And then I guess we'll just foretell the Saw It Coming. Just set our counterspell up for later on. So Rankle will be quite bad here. Rankle will put us to 1. Okay, Gonti. Yeah, I really don't like Gonti. It's so devastating. Let me know what your opponent's got. Yeah, taking Vraska's Contempt here is good. I'm happy not to see a Rankle though, since getting to untap with Saw It Coming and Narset feels okay. But yeah, would have loved that Search Canter. Would have loved the Vraska's Contempt. Yeah, just take a Languish again. Just wipe away the board. How many counter spells? We have the one Saw It Coming in exile. One there as well. I can't remember if we boarded one out. I think we kept him in. So maybe 2 more with a Sublime Epiphany, providing that these cards that our opponent's exiled on counter spells. Which they could be. Yeah, mono black having a counter spell is all good. Yeah, I think we're going to saw it coming. We're going to do this now instead of Search-Raz Cantering first to see what we draw. Just if our opponent has like a Four.Vs, then we don't want them to strip away the thing we get with Search-Raz Canter, because we're sort of in a position now where every card matters. Opponent has 2 cards of theirs and 2 of ours. Another Saw It Coming's great. Shadow's Verdict's okay. You'll get both these Dread Wanderers, which return to the battlefield tapped if you have 1 or fewer cards left in your hand. So we can always like Shadow's Verdict after our opponent uses their mana next turn. So yeah, probably just pass the turn here. And it's going to drop a little bit more. I hope our opponent hasn't got our Shark Typhoons. We saw a Torrential we just put on the bottom. There's 3 of our Shark Typhoons actually, so I think the list is only running 3. Just stop this, I guess. Opponent, I don't know. They're either going to take Saw It Coming or Shadow's Verdict, and I think the Shadow's Verdict is going to be more valuable in this situation. Just because we get these Dread Wanderers. We'll see though. Opponent's tapping a lot of mana. Okay, Midnight Reaper. I think we're going to activate now. Do we take Sense or do we take... I don't want to tell our opponent about Shadow's Verdict, so I'm probably just going to take Censor. Feels a little bit weird. It stops our opponent doing anything else this turn. Or anything meaningful, because I've only got 2 mana left. They're probably just going to activate Arguel's Bloodfast. But I don't want to tell them we have a Shadow's Verdict. Yeah, just cycle this. 27 cards left in library, so not too worried about decking just yet. Commit to Memory is a good one as well. Okay, so probably the plan's going to be to Memory next turn. So we could Shadow's Verdict this turn. Hold up, commit, and Saw It Coming. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can do that. Hold up both of them. And then we just go for Memory and leave our opponent with 1 card in hand and 2 of our cards. Oh, yeah, a bit of a faux pas there. Obviously, it's going to exile our Narset as well. Okay, so, yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. Probably shouldn't have Shadow's Verdict. Probably should have committed the Midnight Reaper and then saw it coming. Yeah, definitely shouldn't have done that, I think. I mean, it's okay. We're not in an awful position. Our opponent's really close to dead if we find a Torrential Gear Hulk. And this transforms at the beginning of your upkeep. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we put a Shadow's Verdict on the bottom, I think. Oh, we actually know what we're going to be drawing. So we kind of don't want to activate Search-Raz Canter. Torrential there. But I guess like this is going to be 3 draws away. I guess we can scry, actually. Yeah, so probably let this go, and then we can Search-Raz Canter. We can activate the castle to scry the top 2 cards away, so we can draw that Torrential Gear Hulk. We'll see what else our opponent does, but that could be the plan. Could also commit one of our own things if our opponent casts one of our cards. Okay, so opponents left all of that mana open. Gotta believe this is like Shark Typhoon or Torrential Gearhulk or something. Or like a counterspell maybe. So, yeah, let's bottom both of these. We'll stick with the plan and go for that Torrential Gearhulk. Yeah, and I guess the plan is just pass the turn. So we don't have enough mana to do everything, but we could saw it coming and then Torrential Gearhulk into another saw it coming if we need to, or commit. Wait, our opponent's paying 2 life here to draw a card? Okay, sorry, they paid the life as part of the cost. Yeah, for some reason I was looking at their life again. Wait a second, but you're going to die now. Yeah, so opponent's going to be able to sacrifice this to gain a little bit of life, but I think that's fine. So I guess we'll take 2 here. So we can Torrential Gearhulk into Behold if we want to, which might be the play. Since we could always commit this. Could also Torrential now and just take... I guess we can Torrential into Vraska's Contempt. We don't really need the card advantage with Search Canter. And then this is lethal if our opponent doesn't have anything. I mean, we've got our commit, saw it coming here, and 2 saw it coming. So there's only one... Oh, and there's the last one. So the opponent doesn't have a counterspell here. Ah, maybe they do have a counterspell. So I actually think we saw it coming instead of commit here, because we'll actually put the Sublime Epiphany in the graveyard. And then Torrential Gearhulk will be able to target the Sublime Epiphany. Is this going to work? It goes to our graveyard. Torrential Gearhulk will enter. And then it will copy the Sublime Epiphany to make another Torrential Gearhulk. And yeah, we're going to start to take over really quickly there. Like I said at the beginning of the game, we are in Silver Tier 1 at the moment since the season reset. So we are climbing. So take this with a little pinch of salt. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. But let's move on to Game 2. Okay, so back for Game 2 of our potentially best of 5. We'll see how long the video is. Best of 5, best of 3 games in Historic. And we're playing some Dimir Control. More specifically, we're playing Andrew's list of Dimir Control, just to see how it does when climbing the ladder. And what do we think of this hand? So we're against Yorion Sky Nomad. So, I mean, this is okay, but this is really, really slow. And we've got a negate. Probably have to mulligan this. I mean, we've got our late game covered. Yeah, we'll keep. We'll see how we get on. It really depends on how good this negate's going to be. If our opponent leads with Four.Vs, then yeah, we are in a bit of trouble. Opponent's just deciding what they'd like to do. So they're not leading with a Four.Vs since they have Fable Passage. I feel like we're probably just going to cycle that Fetid Pools away. I mean, we do need to hit 6th land at some point, and we do want to hit a land, preferably like every turn of the game. But we're probably going to draw more lands, and we'd like more action at the moment. Okay, so opponent goes for the swamp. So maybe they got the turn 2 Four.Vs, but with some awkward mana. Nope. So, yeah, let's just Castle Locthwain. I mean, it's probably more important that we have more blue, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, we'll either cycle or negate here. Opponent could have like a Narset. No Narset with that mana. Ooh, okay. So opponent's going to get to make a 1/1 bird, and then it'll deal combat damage to us, and they'll get to draw a card, and then they get to put a card they own from outside the game on top of their library. So it replaces itself, and they're left with a 1/1, but they get the information of looking at our hand. I think that's fine. I'd rather save the negate for something else. There's every possibility that opponent has ECD and other planeswalkers, so we shall wait. So I presume my opponent just starts by attacking here, maybe, just to get that info. Yep. So they replace it and then look at our hand. Not a duress though, they just get to look. I don't know if it's worth countering this just to keep the information hidden, since we could have countered that and then I mean, this is the same. It's whenever one or more creatures, so they're only going to get to draw one, but they get another 2/2. They get another 1/1. They gain 2 life, not really relevant. I mean, they'll get to look at our hands, but like it's infinitely less valuable. It kind of makes me feel better about not negating the first one now. And I presume our Wraths aren't going to be particularly good in this matchup, so these 1/1 birds give them a little bit of value. So yeah, I guess just pass the turn here. So opponent's going to get to grab a card from their sideboard, and they don't actually have to reveal the card. They will get to draw it this turn, though, because of the other Raven's Warning. Opponent put one on top. Should have probably checked the cards left in our opponent's library. I wonder if we want to like Vraska's Contempt here just to do something. Put something in the graveyard as well for Torrential Gearhulk for later on. See our opponent's up to first. Elspeth's Nightmare. Yeah, I think this is probably worth countering. Opponent's going to get to duress us. I'd like to put a counterspell of some sort, or maybe in Vraska's Contempt in the graveyard anyway. So we've got something for our Torrential Gearhulk. Okay, sweet. So our opponent has Mystical Dispute. Mystical Dispute main deck. Okay, so I kind of want to put this Saw It Coming in exile. Just so our opponent can't steal this. And then if they want to take one of the Vraska's Contempts, that's fine. It puts something in the graveyard for Torrential Gearhulk. Though I guess we're actually going to lose our graveyard from Elspeth's Nightmare soon. Opponent has 65 cards in their library, so let's see. Because there's no like clear animation if our opponent chose to put one on top of their deck. Therefore, 65 at the moment. I think I saw the animation there. So maybe they didn't the first time. So we're going to lose our graveyard, so we won't be able to Torrential Gearhulk. Yeah, I think that's fine. Opponent gets to duress us again. So probably just get down Narset. Opponent might have another Mystical Dispute, but we still get to hold up. Saw It Coming if we want to. Okay, opponent didn't have anything. Guess take Censor. And I'd love to cycle now to try and hit our land drop, but I think we need to hold up Saw It Coming. Yeah, opponent would probably just stacking them triggers correctly. I think now you can take the Vraska's Contempt. Nope, opponent wants to just go for cheap removal. Maybe they're planning on like lowering our life total a lot more with these birds. Really just want to hit lands here. Okay, we did hit land. Perhaps main deck Mystical Disputes. A little bit worried about this Torrential Gearhulk resolving. But I guess we'll just leave it be for now. I think our opponent needs to send both of these birds at Narset. If opponent doesn't send both birds at Narset, then I guess we can just Vraska's Contempt 1 and then start the beatdown with the Torrential Gearhulk. Yeah, opponent's going to send them both, in which case we shall just leave it.
My mind needs a rest.
And opponent's not doing anything. They got 6 cards left in hand. I guess let's fetch before we cycle with Censor. Does it matter? Probably not, but let's get Black Source. Are we just casting a Vraska's Contempt? Feels maybe a little bit bad, but I mean, probably don't need to just, yeah. And yeah, we got things like Fatal Push. I kind of just really prioritizing wanting to do stuff with this Torrential Gearhulk. I think the sooner we get it down, the faster we can beat our opponent, but it's like really likely of our opponent holding now 7 cards in hand that they have an answer to this. Because they know about it. I mean, every time we play a land as well, we're giving our opponent information. So, yeah, maybe Shock here, and then we get to hold up Saw It Coming and Castle Vantress. I don't know, but I think the later this game goes, the better it is for our opponent. Since they can set up these omens, and then eventually every Yorion is just going to be so backbreaking. But these birds have done well. They've got us down to 10 life, I guess. We've shocked ourselves a few times, but yeah. We need to do something eventually. I mean, Behold's a goodie. I mean, card advantage is probably just what we want right now. We can just Behold into Behold. I mean, yeah, this game's definitely going to be grindy overall. Hopefully the Fort Distortion in the board is going to do some work. It's difficult to determine what our opponent has in hand. They could like have a load of dead cards or similar cards to us where you need your opponent to do something. They're probably running like Wrath of God or Doomscar, maybe Extinction Event as well. Okay, so opponent doesn't care about the Yorion value. So opponent has to go to discard. They kept 1 on top and didn't play a land. So interactive spell. Behold into Behold feels sweet. We're basically saying to our opponent, please censor us here. Nope. I don't think we need the Shadow's Verdict. I mean, land is just good at this point, I still think. And now we've got 6 cards in hand. think our opponent's just going to beat us to this 1-1 until we do something. Yeah, and I think this might be the turn we do something. Might try and Vraska's Contempt in the end step. Since I think Searcher's Canter is going to apply a bit of pressure. Yeah, see our opponent contemplating whether they'd like to do something. Yeah, and I think that's a good Vraska's Contempt target. I see our opponent trying to cast like an Omen in response. Holding up Mystical Dispute. So opponent is going for the Searcher's Canter here, which I don't think we want to let happen because we don't get the Searcher's Canter back. We're giving our opponent the opportunity to... I guess actually no, they can't counter Vraska's Contempt. I should probably think before I speak. That's the advantage of doing it this way round. Yeah, library's fine, and we'll transform that. And then, yeah, I mean, like, I don't see any reason to do something. I mean, we can Narset, but I kind of want to save Narset for when we've got the commit memory combo. And like I said, our opponent like was poised to do something there, cast the Archon, because Searcher's Canter is just going to put so much pressure under them. So they might have a lot of cards now, but yeah, getting to dig 4 every turn. Our opponent has to do something there. That's why I think it's so essential that you stop that apparition. We will deck before our opponent, though. Shark Typhoon's a good one. We could just Shark Typhoon now. Yeah, I don't mind Shark Typhooning. Our opponent's going to have like push and other answers as well, but this way we at least get to draw a card out of our opponent's hand. And yeah, definitely happy to race this bird. And yeah, I think just let Searcher's Canter do what it does best, just take over the game. I mean, best case scenario here is we activate Searcher's Canter and then we hit another Shark Typhoon. Or maybe even another Saw It Coming would be great. Yeah. We have to get through so many removal spells. I assume our opponent has Caught in Hands, like its Glass Casket. So happy to let that go. Ooh, so commit to memory. Sublime Epiphany as well. Our opponent has Mystical Disputes, though. I think... So we could go Narset next turn, and we'd have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana available to us, which is Saw It Coming and Commit Memory. And even Censor. And we have another Narset, so we could always find another one. I think it's probably better than Sublime Epiphany. Though, thinking about it, if we had have taken Sublime Epiphany, then if we actually want our opponent to counter a little bit, because then we'd get to Torrential Gearhulk into another Sublime Epiphany, and I think that would just be enough. But yeah, I think that's enough. Probably just activate Castle Vantress as well. Yeah, another Torrential Gearhulk is great. Can't really go wrong with Torrential Gearhulk in this matchup. Yeah, let's play Narset out. I guess let's tap one of these. Conserve as much blue mana as possible, since I think that's where we're going to be a bit caught here. Yeah, and I think I'm happy to tick down. Could argue that it's probably better not to tick down, because maybe they have Oath of Kaya. But yeah, we're definitely winning the card advantage battle at the moment. We're about equal on lands. Okay, this is not a good indication that our opponent... They probably have an answer to Nasa here. So we just commit now. And we don't mind if our opponent counters this. It's more of an issue if our opponent answers Narset in response. In response to the memory. Yeah, probably not going to tap down here, since want to get off this Narset. So, gonna have to discard, but I think that's fine. Have we got Saw It coming in the graveyard? Yeah, we have. So, what are we discarding? Probably either Fatal Push or Censor, and I'm thinking Censor. Just so we have an answer to a Shark if they decide to Shark Typhoon here. If they decide to Shark Typhoon here, it's bad for them. No, they're not going to. Okay, so here we go. This is the reason I assume that memory is in here. Okay, Amiria's Call. So yeah, this is where we go for it, isn't it? Torrential Gearhulk. I mean, our opponent knows we have it. Do we just let this happen first? I mean, we can Torrential Gearhulk first and see what happens. But yeah, opponent's going to end up with no cards in hand, and we obviously get to Fatal Push one of these tokens, then Vraska's Contempt the other. I mean, if we want to, we can Torrential Gearhulk again into another thing, and then into a counter spell or removal spell. But yeah, let's cast this, and yeah. If we wanted to do that, I guess we should have Torrential Gearhulked first, but I mean, if this memory goes off, it's fine. With 7 cards to their 1. Or no, they won't have any because they drew for turn. The only thing I can see them having here is Negate or Mystical Dispute, in which case we have a counterspell for it. Okay. So if they answer this, the Torrential Gearhulk just gets shuffled back in. Do we want to like Torrential for something else? I mean, Torrential into anything doesn't really matter because we're going to have to shuffle everything in. So probably just... Oh, we can Saw It Coming the Amiria's Call, can't we? And then still have open another Saw It Coming. And this way our opponent is literally left with zilch. We lose our Torrential Gearhulk, but like, oh well. It's going to resolve. Sweet, yeah, I mean... Take 7 fresh cards, please. Auto resolve. Yeah, we'll definitely pay. Yeah. And there we go. Sweet. So just looking for a Torrential Gearhulk or some way to close the game now. I think this is the first time I've done that and our opponent hasn't instantly conceded. Oh, it's not a bad one. Probably gonna, I guess, Behold first. Since we don't, our opponent has no cards in hand, we don't have to worry about anything now. Oh, Torrential Gearhulk. So let's just counter that. And we don't have to, could untap and Shadow's Verdict, but... Cling to Dust, don't need to, just get another Narset. Play land. And yeah, I think it's pretty trivial at this point. I'm just trying to make sure we don't make a massive mistake. We will discard him. And then the plan is going to be to Sublime Epiphany, whatever our opponent has, and then Torrential Gearhulk into that. Just Torrential now. We still get the Sublime Epiphany, don't we, if we want to? We can Torrential into Saw It Coming. Into Behold, even. Not that it matters, but... Just try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. Fair enough that our opponent's letting us play through it. Yeah, it's untap. So, Shark Typhoon and Torrential Gearhulk is what we're looking for. Opponent's going for Extinction Event, so we're probably just going to Sublime Epiphany here. Just to speed this up. Create a token and draw a card. Don't want to bounce their thing. Target creature. I mean, actually, we could bounce our own Narset. I mean, we may as well go for full value, I guess. Let's bounce our own Narset. So, bounce Narset. Target creature we control. Target player. And I don't think this Torrential has anything to target. I mean, yeah, Sublime Epiphany again, I guess. I guess that's just lethal, isn't it? With another Torrential Gearhulk. Don't need to counter that. Create a token, draw a card. Yeah, we'll draw more, please. I mean, yeah. Dimir control. When I looked at the list originally, I saw obviously little interactions and that, but yeah, I didn't really think that you could Torrential, copy Torrential, and obviously copy it again. But yeah, that's just lethal. Good game, opponent. So that was only game 1 of our Yorion Sky Nomad. So we'll see how game 2 goes on, but that went pretty well. I mean, we're in a staring contest for a really large proportion of that game, and then we ended up making the first move of Search Canter, and yeah, it kind of just worked out. So what do we want to cut? I mean, Shadow's Verdict has to be one of the first things we're taking out. Eliminate and Fatal Push don't feel great, and nor does Cling to Dust, actually. I think Shark Typhoon, Fort Distortion, Maze Mind Tome, Four.Vs seems good. And then we've got space for 2 more things. I wonder if we just want to bring in like Fatal Pushes. It just answers Sharks. Could bring in Cling to Dust. Probably Cling to Dust, actually. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about the birds. We have like Shark Typhoon and stuff. Yeah, I could see just bringing in a Fatal Push. I mean, I don't really want to bring it in, but we haven't really got anything else to go with that. Could bring in like a Leyline, maybe. Well, is Leyline more valuable than Fatal Push? View Battlefield. I think we put everything back in, didn't we? Can't remember everything we saw. Maybe actually Languish instead of Fatal Push. We've just seen the Archon. Yeah, that makes sense. Bringing a Languish will allow us to kill the Archon and answer everything else. So probably just run out of that. Okay, so a really grindy game against Yorion, game 1, and now we're going into game 2. What do we think of this? This is probably one of them hands we can go get Island with Fable Passage, and then we've got all of our lands, can cycle the Fetid Pools on turn 2, and then turn 3 we can have a Shark Typhoon, or if you find something else. So it's probably a keepable hand. I mean, most control hands look somewhat similar to this. We've just you need to draw more cards to see how they turn out. Where we don't have like a solid curve of things that we want to do. It's very dependent on what our opponent's got. Probably just going to foretell the Behold this turn instead of cycling the Fetid Pools. I'd love to get down that Search Canter. I mean, I don't know if our opponent has Four.Vs. I think they did. But, I mean, they're definitely going to have Dovin's Veto or Negate. Or Mystical Dispute. we know that our opponent has Skyclave as well, so we could have just resolved Search with Canter, and then they could just upkeep in their turn, just go Plains or White Source into a Skyclave. Okay, so opponent's going to get to duress our hand next turn. I think this is the time we get down Search with Canter. I know they said they could Skyclave, but it's going to be duressed out of our hand if we wait any longer. And now we've got plenty of stuff to do. We're just going to play out this Fetid Pools. So, yeah, they don't take Sublime Epiphany here, I don't think. I think they take, maybe Saw It Coming? Yeah. And then maybe we just see a Skyclave here. You could take the Sublime Epiphany if you are planning on, oh, even better. So, nothing we can do in response to this. We can't put a permanent in play, a non-token permanent. So we're going to lose Search for Canter, unfortunate. Graveyard the Censor. And then, yeah, just pass the turn. Our opponent will get to exile them 4 cards. Shame we're losing Search for Canter, since I think that's almost single-handedly won us the last game. And obviously, the Narset memory combo. So yeah, probably just going to cycle the Shark Typhoon and then maybe just discard this Field of Ruin. We didn't see any Doom Foretold in the last game, so I've got to assume it's a Doom Foretold list when they're running Raven's Warning. But you never know. Yeah, we'll allow this. So, I mean, this is... We could just hold back and then our opponent won't get to replace the Raven's Warning, which I actually kind of like. Yeah, well, I think we're just going to sit back, actually, for this turn. And if our opponent wants to use a card to try and answer our Shark, just so they can replace the Raven's Warning, then I think we're happy with that. Otherwise, our opponent spent 3 mana to make a 1/1 and gain 2 life. I mean, I'm actually incentivized to counter this as well. Because if we counter this and then our opponent uses another counter spell, then that's just great, isn't it? And we still get to Behold. Opponent going to use like a Mystical Dispute. Opponent kept in 2 Heartless Acts. I guess it's for the Torrential Gearhold, but yeah, it kind of makes it feel a little bit good. We've just got 2 cards out of our opponent's hand. Maybe it makes this Sublime Epiphany a little bit better. But our opponent's not gaining any new information. They only know we have a Swamp now. But we get to Behold. Narset, don't need land, but Narset seems okay. So if we Narset now and tick down, then we're going to lose that Narset unless we find a removal spell. We didn't keep in any removal spells. We kept in Vraska's Contempt. No point in... I mean, we could just cast Narset and not tick down, make our opponent find something. And then we still get to censor something or cling to dust.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just happy to just pass the turn here. Could always tick down on our next turn if we want to. If we had 1 more mana, then maybe I tick down looking for like a Vraska's Contempt. So opponent is going to go after Narset. I wonder I'll probably tick down next turn. But when we have full mana available. So I'm probably just going to use the Clinter Dust here to just draw a card. What do we want to exile? Maybe just Doom Foretold? I'm not sure. And then, yeah, let's cycle Fetid Pools instead of cycling Sensor. Yeah, and I mean, our opponent could have Yorion here. They could Yorion and Mystical Dispute. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So definitely a possibility. So Four.Vs. Yeah. Shame we didn't hit another land. But I like Four.Vs here. Worst case scenario is we get to take this Yorion. Best case is what we get, maybe a counterspell out of their hand. Ooh, Clinter Dust is ooh, that's rather annoying against against our Torrential Gearhulk, but not much we can do about that. So we probably Amiria's Call is 7 mana, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So opponent will be able to pay for Sensor with Amiria's Call next turn. And we don't really have an answer to that. So probably just take that. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna take Amiria's Call here. If they couldn't pay for it, then we'd probably just take the Yorion. And definitely not taking Clinter Dust. I guess if our opponent does Clinter Dust here, we can just exile their one. Okay, Treacherous Blessing. So opponent's going to get to draw 3 cards. Doesn't feel good, but yeah, gotta kind of let that happen. Opponent's probably going to draw into more counterspells now. Yeah, let's take Elspeth's Nightmare. Exile some cards we don't need. Get them lands first, and I guess like Narset. Yeah, just if we can Torrential Gearhulk, our opponent's going to be able to cling in response. Ooh. Okay, interesting. So we've got an opportunity to resolve Torrential Gearhulk now, and we won't get another opportunity to do that for a little bit. I mean, our opponent could easily have a counterspell as well. Yeah. Tough situations. So we have 2, 4, 7 mana available to us. If our opponent could have a Mystical Dispute, the 4 unknown cards. And if our opponent has a Mystical Dispute, we are just done at that point. Just risk it. Because if we go Torrential Gearhulk now, I guess we're just getting a Behold the Multiverse, which isn't like amazing. So probably just going to play Narset actually. Pause here definitely tells us that they have a counterspell. Can't imagine an opponent gets in too many more removal spells for these sharks. But I think I'm happy just to cycle to make a 2/2 here. And kill the bird, and then we get to keep Narset around on 1 loyalty. We can trade with the knight on the next turn. This way our opponent can't Yorion into Treacherous Blessing and Omen.
You could use some training.
So do we Torrential Gear Hulk now? We only have 6 minutes left on the clock, it's just under 7. So I've got to play a little bit fast. I think we're going to try and Torrential Gear Hulk now. If our opponent has a Mystical Dispute, they have a Mystical Dispute. We're losing Narset. And then they can blink the Treacherous Blessing and the Omen of the Sea. So if our opponent has a removal spell here, there's not much we can do about it. So probably just cast a Behold. If there was like a Fatal Push or Vraska's Contempt or something in the graveyard, then I'd probably just get rid of the Knight here, because it's too risky if they have a removal spell for the Torrential. Interesting that our opponent hasn't done anything, though. If we go to blocks here, then I can only assume our opponent does not have a counter spell and does not have a removal spell. Yeah, it's looking quite unlikely here, and I think we need that as well, because of 6 minutes and 36 left on the clock. And we've not got a lot of time to lock this away. Yep. I mean, opponent will get to Scry. So yeah, we need to close the game away as quickly as possible. So can Shark Typhoon for 6, which I actually think we might do. I think if our opponent had a removal spell, they would have used it last turn. I think it was too much of a big opportunity to answer the Narset. So unless they drew one this turn. But like I said, how many Heartless Acts can you really keep in? We've already seen 2 of them. Okay, sweet. I mean, yeah, this Treacherous Blessing is going to stack up as well, but this Narset has done work. So yeah, Four Distortion is not actually that great now. I mean, we put it in because it would have been good at almost any point in the game, but not too worried about Four Distortion now. I'm not even too worried about opponent answering this Narset. Since this Torrential Gear Hulk's hopefully just going to get us there now. Could even have lethal next turn with Sublime Epiphany. We shall discard Behold. I don't think we're short on card advantage at the moment. Interesting our opponent didn't Cling there. Or sacrifice Omen. Probably going to Shark Typhoon for 4 here. Just don't make our opponent's life as... make it as difficult as possible. And we still get to hold up and negate. So our opponent needs like a double removal spell. Okay. So pretty happy, yeah, we did that. If we'd have let our opponent answer, then they would have got to draw a ton more cards here. This has been a grindy matchup. So these glass caskets get to take the Shark Typhoon. This opponent gets another bird. Yeah, this Narset has put in work. Opponents just really struggled to answer Narset. But we are like a turn or two off winning. I mean, our opponent's going to get to stay alive this turn. But, yeah, we are going to close the game. And we have to do it quickly. We have 5 minutes and 2 seconds, 3 seconds left on the clock. So let's attack here. Opponent's going to block with their 1/1. And probably just going to upkeep Vraska's Contempt here. I mean, we have to go down to discard. Is it worth doing an upkeep? I mean, just discard Maze Mind Tone. I think that's fine. So now we could Vraska's Contempt. Equally, we could like bounce the Yorion, create a token that's a copy of Torrential Gearhulk. Probably just answer this. Then we have like Saw It Coming or negate. Sweet, this works out so well for us. We even get to foretell this now. And our opponent has 1 draw. I can't remember what they scried last turn. I mean, they don't have 1 draw, they have 2 draws, but... Oh, yeah, I guess they get to draw with Omen, which they are putting on top. Okay, opponent's doing this in upkeep. Maybe we could have bluffed another negate. But it's probably better just to be mana efficient here. So opponent's going to get 2 cards that they actually want. So if one of them is an answer to Narset and the other one is a Yorion to blink all of their stuff, then we could be a bit more in trouble. Maybe. I don't know. I think we're at that point in the game now where we're just trying to figure out like how do we lose. Probably the main way we're losing is to our clock. Just going to pass the turn here. Just hold up Sublime Epiphany and Saw It Coming. Yeah, happy to let that go. So opponent got a way to gain life. Opponent has. They can target their own Yorion, so maybe we need to Sublime Epiphany or Torrential Gearhulk here, just to put some more power into play. Okay, Elspeth's Nightmare does nothing at the moment. I guess now this isn't even an out because they have to lose a life to the Treacherous Blessing. So, yeah, just cast Torrential Gearhulk. I guess cast Behold. Now we have more than enough power in play, and we still have a Saw It Coming. So both of these cards our opponent has to be a relevant spell. But then I guess they're just going to kill themselves to the Treacherous Blessing. And yeah, sweet. Managed to get there against Yorion Sky Nomad. And yeah, moving up in the season, going into gold. Wow. I'm going to move up that tier slowly. But yeah, that was a super grindy game. Really fun, interesting, back and forward. But yeah, ended up coming on top. On to the next one. Okay, so we are back with some more Dimir control. I believe this is game 3 of our potentially 5, but we've had some long matches so far. So we'll get as many games as we can done. But yeah, playing Andrew's Dimir list in Historic. Let's see how we get on. I think we're going to keep this. This is reasonable enough. We can cycle this sensor early. And yeah, Saw It Coming's good. Shadow's Verdict, Vraska's Contempt. Pretty solid hand. Just need to find some lands. Maybe a 2-lander's a little bit risky, but I think with the cycling of the sensor, we're okay. I think the only way this hand gets a little bit more risky is if our opponent's on aggro. Yeah, I think we're fine to cycle sensor here and then plan to hold up a Saw It Coming on turn 3. So, opponent is not sure what they're doing. Triome. Okay, opponent's going to Four.Vs. We'll do our sensor after. Maybe they take this Saw It Coming here just to prepare for their turn 3. I wonder if we're keeping sensor now. Just to set our opponent behind the curve a little bit. I don't know. See if our opponent takes sensor, how aggressive they want to get. Okay, opponent doesn't want commit in our hands. Okay, drawing the second sensor is nice. Our opponent might just tap down here thinking, oh, they've cycled away that sensor and I've looked at the hand. What are the odds of them drawing another one in 2 cards? I think I'm going to hold this. Might just start activating Castle Lockpoint now. I'm not really sure what our opponent's up to. Looks like just Golgari at the moment splashing white. Okay. I might just activate Castle Lockpoint here. Just take 4. Opponent's deck doesn't look like the sort of list that's going to be pressuring us too much. We're also incentivized to cycle this sensor now that our opponent knows about it. Or, yeah, just give us a fantastic target for that. Our opponent obviously knew that was going to happen, so you can only assume that they have something else. Would love to cast this Memory, but because our cards are a little bit useless, but our opponent would get to untap and would get to go first with that. But it doesn't look like they have too much left over. Ooh, okay, so we are not going to be able to cast this Memory unless we choose to negate this. Switches off our Torrential Gearhulks as well. I wonder if we just want to let this go, though. I actually think not. Like, we have 3 Torrential Gearhulks and the Memory. I feel like our opponent's only going to be running the one of Graph Digger's Cage in the main. Maybe we should draw first and see what we find. Yeah, I think I'm happy to negate this. Just Torrential Gearhulk's going to be so strong, and our opponent's not running counter magic. Opponent's got a removal spell here, like Eliminate. Spot on. Yeah, Search Counter is good. And we have 8 cards, so it's going to flip. So more mana, the better. Hoping that opponent doesn't have like an Assassin's Trophy here, or I guess there's like a multitude of things they could have. Vraska is one of them. Okay, opponent did not want to blow up Search Counter. They have another answer in hand. No. Seems like a bit of an odd choice, but maybe they're just trying to rush this ultimate. Yeah, I think we're going to library this. We need to find an answer to this Vraska, but shouldn't be too difficult. We've got a few turns. And we can even win with this Vraska Ultimate. Our opponent's not going to have that many hasty threats. Maybe just a Questing Beast we've got to look out for. But yeah, with an active Search-House Canter, I'm surprised our opponent didn't answer that last turn. We're going to quite quickly start to take over the game. So opponent sack the Haven here. Yeah. So it looks like our opponent's splashing white. Or maybe they're just straight Golgari. And they just want a Triome in the mana basis. Okay. Maybe just take a push. Yeah, I don't feel like taking the life. Okay, so we do have to find an answer to Vraska soon. Otherwise, we're essentially left on 1 for the rest of the game. Which, like I said, like we can do, but if we can avoid it, we'd love to avoid it. So, really hoping to hit a Vraska's Contempt in the top, what's that, like 8 cards of Search-House Canter. And we've gone past 1. Yeah, I mean, cycling Shark Typhoon is like a little bit risky. I mean, Sublime Epiphany can bounce it. That's probably the safer bet. We can just bounce it and then draw a card. Because if we Shark Typhoon, like our opponents in Golgari, they're going to have a removal spell for our Shark. So I feel like just taking Sublime Epiphany here. And then I'm kind of just happy to cast the Sublime Epiphany now. Just bounce the Vraska and we'll draw a card. Little bit expensive for 6 mana, but happy to this Vraska just not to ultimate. We even have the Fable Passage with the Fatal Push next turn. And I think I'm going to let this Vraska resolve and we're going to hold the Saw It Coming for something else. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this, but like, was it right not to destroy the Search-House Canter there? I feel like you definitely destroyed the Search-House Canter. Because I was left with like, I think 2 cards in hand and they were like Shadow's Verdict. Maybe just 1 Shadow's Verdict or something. What do you reckon as well? Was it right to negate the Grafdigger's Cage? Because so far, Cage hasn't done anything. Cage hasn't stopped us, but I feel like with so many Torrential Gearhulks. It looks like our opponent's just on like good old-fashioned Golgari mid-range. They've had a pretty good hand, but maybe these are like eliminates left in the hand. Looks like our opponent either timed out or maybe got salty. I don't know. I will speed through this for you though, so you don't have to sit and watch this timer go down. Okay, so it looks like our opponent decided to not do anything with their turn, so they'll be skipping. And we shall be activating Search-House Canter and whiffing. Not sure what our opponent's up to. Maybe they walked away. Maybe they disconnected from the server. I mean, if anyone watched the championships, we know that that can definitely happen. And yeah. Maybe Wizards of the Coast will sort out Arena. Okay, so Golgari mid-range being taken down. So overall, I think we had that game definitely. I think it was really easy once the Search-House Canter flipped. But I feel like that's a relatively good matchup for us mid-range lists because we have the advantage to push past and sort of provide a lot of card advantage in the late game. Tons of answers, and yeah, I feel like something like Golgari mid-range is going to be quite easy. Normally we're going to struggle against decks with counter spells, so maybe if this was like Sultai instead, we'd have a bit of a harder time, but as much as it goes, Golgari's easy. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so historic best of 3. We are currently on game 4. We'll see if we can get a game 5 in, but maybe not enough time since we've had some pretty grindy games. Game 1 and 2 was super grindy. I mean, I think the Yorion matchup we almost timed out. And yeah, against Golgari though, that was a pretty quick game, so maybe we'll have time. We'll see how quick this one is. But as far as hands go, I quite like this one. This is the first hand we have had a Mind Stone in our opening hand, so let's see how this goes. Probably play this Fetid Pools turn 1, hoping to draw land so we don't have to let this Fable Passage enter tapped. And then go Mind Stone turn 2, and if we find a black source in the meantime, I guess we have Vraska's Contempt or Saw It Coming on turn 3. Opponent's mulligan once. Oh, against like a Death Shadow list? Maybe. Death Shadow is something I played in Modern a little bit and a few years back before the pandemic. And yeah, that was a super fun list. It'll be interesting to see how it performs in Historic. So if opponent's gone like Mono Black or added white for the Ranger. Or red for maybe Bowmut Courier and Arcanist. Maybe opponent's not on it altogether. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. It is somewhat refreshing to not play against blue lists. I know we always play blue on the channel, but okay, opponent's missing land drops. But it is nice to not have to worry about our opponent countering our things. Now I think we're in an okay position since we get 2 Contempt and then in 2 turns get to just Gear Hulk. Okay, so it looks like our opponent's maybe on some sort of colourless list instead, in which case I don't necessarily like our odds. I think we're gonna... I think we have to sack the Mind Stone looking for a Sensor here. Torrential Gear Hulk's just going to be no good in 2 turns. Nope. Okay, so gone from having pretty good hopes to I think we're going to lose this game. Yeah, I don't like our odds too much now. Opponent has double mana. Yeah, I thought the Deadlands was an indication that our opponent was trying to lose life as fast as possible, but it looks like before Sacred Monument they're going to be going in the opposite direction. Opponent's just going to smack us for 4. We are going to take this 4. Could Fatal Push it, but I'd rather use all of our mana and Behold this turn. Yeah, we have to let this go. Not much we can do to stop that. Yeah, I don't really know how we're going to get out of this situation. I guess counter all of our opponent's threats and hope they can't really utilise their mana. Need to find an answer to these two. We've got the Field of Ruin at the moment. We'll probably draw into more lands. What do you know? So probably just got to Vraska's Contempt this Ugin. Can't allow this to keep going up. Yeah, don't feel too great about our position. If our opponent reanimates the Guardian Idol, then obviously we'll just push that. Leave them with a 4/4, and then hopefully we can like Torrential Gear Hulk into Saw It Coming, and maybe Sublime Epiphany. So we've got quite a fast clock once we get there. Wait for our opponent to attack so they can't utilise the mana from Guardian Idol. It's 2 CMC. But yeah, I like maybe Torrential Gear Hulk, or we could Sublime Epiphany something. Probably better to Torrential and block first. It looks like our opponent might be falling victim to all of the ramp, but none of the payoff, so just the 1 payoff. So we'll see, but if our opponent doesn't tap down, I'm kind of happy to just take 8 here maybe. Torrential Gear Hulk, like Vraska's Contempt, to answer the Guardian Idol in the end step, and then we have Sublime Epiphany on the next turn to double Torrential and then hopefully close the game really quickly from there. We'll see. Opponent can get back one of their artifacts. They have a redraw of Mind Stone. I think obviously if our opponent's like an Ulamog or something, then yeah, not going to be too great. This can bounce the Forsaken Monument back as well. Maybe it's worth doing that now. We could bounce Forsaken Monument back. We wouldn't get the extra value of the Sublime Epiphany, but next turn we can Torrential Gearhulk into Sublime Epiphany. Our opponent has 1, 2, 3. I guess we kind of have to wait. I mean, I'm fine waiting. If our opponent animates the Guardian Idol here, then they won't have enough mana to also cast the Forsaken Monument. And I think if we get Forsaken Monument off the battlefield, then we're in a pretty good position. So yeah, I think I like Sublime Epiphany here instead of Torrential Gearhulk. Otherwise, we're forced to Sublime Epiphany in our opponent's upkeep if we do it the other way. And then we're tapped down for their entire turn. So yeah, we'll bounce the Forsaken Monument and we shall draw a card. Just half our opponent's mana. Surprising they chose not to attack here. I guess they know we got the Torrential Gearhulk. But yeah, suddenly liking our position quite a lot. And worst case scenario is, if our opponent decides just to do nothing here, then we'll just cast a Torrential Gearhulk and just get back Behold. Or Vraska's Contempt. I wonder what's under this card. Most worry about an Ulamog. Take 2. So, I think, yeah, since we've got the Saw It Coming in the graveyard, we'll just Sublime Epiphany now. And this reads, when that token leaves the battlefield, put the exile card into your hand. So we don't need to counter. Return target non-land permanent, create a token, and draw a card. So I guess we can bounce Guardian Idol. Do we want to bounce the token? We're going to have to kill it at some point. Bounce the Guardian. Oh, okay, opponent's going to scoop it up. I don't know. I guess if we leave the token, then we get one more turn of it. Okay, I think this is a Four.Vs matchup and not a Fatal Push or Cling to Dust. Fort Distortion seems okay, but probably a bit slow. Yeah, we don't have much stuff for this. I've not seen this list for a while. It's normally a best of one list. Yeah, I really don't know how we want to board. Maybe we do want the Fatal Pushes, just some more interaction. I don't think we want Shadow's Verdict. Maybe Fort Distortion as well. I mean, like, Eliminate's going to be pretty useless. Or it's rather the Fatal Pushes. Bring in the Fort Distortion. There could be a position in which we get time to cast it. But yeah, probably just going to run it back and cross our fingers. Okay, so going into game 2 against the colourless combo list, and our opponent fell victim to all of the ramp and very few payoffs in game 1. We'll hopefully get some good luck in this game as well, and I think this hand is more than keepable. The Negate makes the hand playable, I think, and Censor can hopefully catch our opponent off guard. Our opponent's probably going to be ramping a little bit, so Censor won't be at its best, but they might try and just Forsaken Monument on turn 3 if they have some ramp. Ooh. Also, having 2 of these means, I mean, oh, opponent took Nasa. Interesting. Maybe they're planning on playing the late game. Maybe I was a little bit wrong when I was discussing in sideboarding about them being colorless combo, or the beginning of this game. Maybe instead they're not. I mean, do we put the Behold? Yeah, we're going to foretell, actually. This might be wrong, tapping down, but I think turn 4 is the turn we're really scared of. I could very much just see our opponent activating Maid's Mind Tome here. Yep, not really worried about Mind Stone. Okay, so yeah, now we're in a position where we can either Censor or Behold. I feel like we're okay if we play the late game. And Sublime Epiphany is a good answer to Ulamog, being able to counter the trigger. Okay, so yeah, allow this. I think both of them cards are great. I think happy to cycle Censor here now. Want to make sure we hit our land drops. Let's Four.Vs first. So our opponent has 5 mana available to them. Yeah, that's a pretty tasty Ulamog we'll take there. And if we hit our lands here, we've got all of the components required for a pretty good late game. Could do with finding a Narset, maybe. Maybe we should have waited to our turn, since we don't really want to thin the deck of a land. Yeah, kind of happy to cycle, try and hit a land drop here. Sweet. I don't think we're Torrential Gear hulking into memory without a Narset in play. Doesn't feel like it's right. I mean, our opponent's got no ramp, so maybe it's right. He says that our opponent casts a Hedron Archive. Probably just going to counter this. Don't really want our opponent to gain a mana advantage over us, and we still have Negate and Sublime Epiphany. It's a lot of cards. Really want to hit that extra land, since Torrential Gearhulk into Behold would be really good. Really want to find the next land drop. Opponent's not far off of Ulamog now. I guess we're just going to activate Castle Lothwain. Don't need to do it now. The only way we get punished is if we hit a Fetid Pools. Yeah, maybe missing a few too many land drops here. We did cycle Sensors early. Yeah, opponent is very close to casting Ulamog, if they have one in hand. Oh! Oh, okay. Not good. No way to counter this, so this is happening. Yeah, so missed just maybe a few too many land drops there. And it's probably going to be the end now. Yeah, I mean, Torrential Gearhulk's pretty much switched off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Narset just a little bit late. I think we are going to Narset though and try and get some more card advantage. I mean, our opponent could have an Ulamog here, in which case we probably want to Narset anyway for a Four.Vs. I mean, our opponent's one turn off casting it. So worried about that Ulamog. Yeah, just take a Mind Stone. Opponent can sacrifice their Blast Stone to blow up Narset. Sets them back a mana, but maybe they do it anyway. Probably going to draw with Mind Stone here. Opponent has Mobile District as well, something to bear in mind. Yep, gotta stop that, I think. Double mana for our opponent is not good. Currently no way of getting it back for them. Okay, so Field of Ruin's okay. The problem is, with what our opponent's playing, it's only a matter of time before they find an Ulamog. I mean, yep, not much we can do about that. We're just flashing in Torrential Gearhulk here, just start closing the game. Since at the moment it is just a 6 mana 5/6. No no ability to cast stuff out of the graveyard, unfortunately. Looking at the way this match has gone, I think Fort Distortion is something we'll want to bring in. And I think we're not going to cast a Shark Typhoon. I think we're going to cycle it. Yeah, maybe should have Field of Ruin first. Got a Field of Ruin. Yeah, I think we can Field of Ruin in their turn, maybe. See what they do first. Our opponent does not have the potential to activate that yet. They have only 2 colours of mana. Oh, now they have it. We can't even answer that with Field of Ruin. Yeah, I don't have too much high hopes at the moment. If our opponent starts activating Golos, it's definitely over. I mean, we'll give our opponent the option to block, I guess. We will 100% push this. Okay, opponent didn't want to animate. Okay, yeah. So opponent's going to take this. We are going to have Vraska's Contempt their Golos. And then we're going to fingers crossed that our opponent doesn't find anything too insane. Because we need 2 turns. We have an answer to this Crawling Barons. But yeah, opponent's playing a nice little spicy list for best of 3 with Hand Hate and Fort Distortion. So like they're playing mono black, but mainly colorless. I guess like just mono black control. Opponent gonna just maybe shoot the Torrential Gear Hulk. Okay. I guess their plan is to animate here and block maybe. Another Torrential's good. Gonna have to go for this Ugin. Opponent probably floats the mana here. Nope. Opponent really wants to save this Ugin. Not going to allow them to. They have just bought themselves an extra turn with the Maze Mind Tome. Yeah, really need to take this Ugin off the board. Our opponent has a ton of cards left though. They got Hedron Archive to sacrifice. I guess that's it. They could kill the Torrential Gear Hulk with the -1/-1 counters. It might take a while. This Grafdigger's Cage is actually doing work as well. I feel a lot safer if I had this. Opponent is going to do that. I feel a lot safer if this Torrential Gear Hulk would actually do something. Feel like I'm just going to get another Torrential Gear Hulk down. Could activate the Castle Locthwain, but can't cast any of these, so it doesn't matter. Do you want to draw now? Just take our draw step. I think it's fine to take 2. We'll attack it. This becomes a 3/3. So 2-turn clock. Our opponent can draw off the Hedron Archive. I guess we'll play this now and just draw. Could Scry then draw? I mean, if we don't Thoughtseize here, then we have the option to activate Vantress, but I think we are going to Thoughtseize. And hope that our opponent's got a goodie in hand. Fort Distortion's not that good. Doesn't do much here. Okay, so yeah, opponent, what have you got? I mean, they're not strictly dead next turn, because they can activate the Deadlands. Shrink down our Torrential Gear Hulk a bit more. Equally, if they have like an Ulamog here, then that's really, really bad. They get to kill both our Torrential Gear Hulks. Oof, we're looking at Torment of Hailfire. Probably not Torment. It wouldn't be an efficient way to do that. No, opponent's just going to shrink down Torrentials. Yeah, opponents reduced the clock massively. One of these Torrentials can't actually attack past the mobile district. Okay, I think we want to upkeep Scry. Yeah, saw it coming's okay. So this is 3, 4, 5. Our opponent would attacking for. We're attacking for 4. I guess we hold one of the torrentials back. Because the opponent can attack us with the Guardian Idol and the Mobile District. That'll put us to, yeah, well, I guess 2. Yeah, so we'll fall to 3. And then we could activate Lockthwain again and fall to 1. I guess that's what we're doing. Oh my god, these Radiant Fountains have bought our opponent so much time. We've gone past our Sublime Epiphany, haven't we, yet? Yeah, I mean, let our opponent take that. We've gone past all of our pushes as well. I think we boarded out our pushes, or no, we didn't. 2. I can't remember how many we kept in. Surprised our opponent didn't attack there. So it's giving us more activations. Search for Scant is a goodie. Yeah, both of them are excellent as well. Maybe the plan is, if we're casting Search for Canter, then if we're casting Search for Canter, we can't cast Torrential Gearhulk. Maybe the plan is just to cast Torrential Gearhulk. I guess Shark Typhoon could be a 4/4. So, yeah, I mean, we'd have to be able to hit them with the 3/3 here. We'll go for it. We shall see. We'll attack here with both, though. And if our opponent goes for the easy block, like Guardian Idol on the smaller Torrential Gearhulk, and takes 3, then the Shark Typhoon is lethal on the next turn, providing our opponent doesn't have their 4th Radiant Fountain. So, opponent's taking the block. Let's see. Not going to play the Search for Canter. I mean, yeah, our opponent's going to see it a little bit earlier than we want, but not going to allow them to take this Shark Typhoon. So, opponent takes our Search for Canter. We still have a Torrential Gearhulk left in hand. But yeah, opponent's got 2 cards. What have you got? Oh, how we got there? So I wasn't sure of Shark Typhoon, but yeah, exactly lethal. And that was not the list I expected to play when we were deciding what we were against in game 1. First of all, I thought it was some sort of Death Shadow list because of the Deadlands, and then turned out to be colourless. But normally when you see these colourless lists, it's some sort of combo list with 4 mana Khan, and you try and combo off with the Forge, where you tap, like, exile the top card of your library, and you can play the top card. But yeah, sweet. Managed to go, I think, 4-0. Did we go 4-0? I don't know. We'll do that in the review in a second, so stay tuned for that. Howdy guys, cheers for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. So normally we would play 5 games back to back, and we don't skip any of the games, but some of them were really long, especially that Yorion matchup that we played game 2. So I've decided only to play 4 of them. Let me know down in the comments whether you prefer longer videos or not. I know that when it comes to other Magic content creators, they tend to keep them shorter rather than longer. I think maybe it's better for the YouTube algorithm or something like that. Not sure. I'm not too bothered about what's good for that. I'd rather just cater to the audience I've got. So let me know down below what you think of that. Do you want longer ones or short ones? Do you want to see them 5 games? But anyway, so this is Andrew Cuneo's blue-black control list from the championship that just went past last weekend. I think he placed 19th overall? Let me just check. Yeah, he placed 19th overall. I only watched the historic games, and I really liked the list. I thought it was a really interesting take on blue-black control. I didn't watch standard, so I don't know how he did then. But yeah, I'm not that familiar with blue-black. I normally play Azorius and some Jeskai for people who are watching the channel. But it was really fun to play this. Shadow's Verdict was not something that I would necessarily expect to see from someone playing in the top tier level Magic. But once you play with Shadow's Verdict, you kind of realise exactly why you're playing this above Extinction Event. It just hits so many relevant threats at the moment. And what it does not hit for CMC or higher, you have Vraska's Contempt to answer, and even to some extent Fatal Push as well. And if we take a look at the sideboard as well, having the extra Shadow's Verdict and 3 Languishes in there seems really, really good. So I don't want to say too much on it because it's Andrew's list. He's obviously got his rationale for placing certain things in here. Just the bits I really liked, like I said, with the Shadow's Verdict. It was super fun to play with Torrential Gearhulk. And as you saw, I think it was in the first game we played, actually in a few of the games, we came up in a situation where Sublime Epiphany and Torrential Gearhulk was just an insane combo. And Commit to Memory and Narset, obviously, just so strong as well. Not something I normally put in our Azorius lists, but maybe we need to make room for the Commit to Memory, since we're normally playing some number of Narsets anyway. And Torrential Gearhulk, I mean, I just love it. So it was really fun to go back and play with that. And having a Fort Distortion in the board, super, super sweet. We only had one game where we had the Mind Stone in our opening hand, but it was a nice welcomed bit of ramp, and I can see how it's good at sort of all points in the game. You draw it late, it's a little bit of extra mana, or you can draw a card off of it, and if you got it early, you're being able to ramp into your board wipes a little bit faster, or just your removal spells. So we ended up playing 4 games overall. We played the mono black list game 1, and I kind of felt like we were really favoured to win in that matchup. In between all of the removal, I mean, if we quickly just go through it, we have 3 fatal pushes and eliminate. There's 4, 5, 6 for the Vraska's Contempts, 7, 8, 9 with the Shadow's Verdicts as well. We have an insane amount of removal in the main deck. And then you've got Shark Typhoons, which can be cycled, Sublime Epiphanies, which can bounce. Yeah, it's just an insane amount. And then you've obviously got Sensors and saw it coming. So I just feel like we've really got an edge in them creature matchups. And you saw it in, I think it was game 3 as well, when we played against Golgari. They did scoop really early. It was a really quick game. But you can definitely see that game that we saw, game 1, we were definitely on track to win that. And I feel like we got pretty good odds in game 2 and 3 as well, especially after boarding. When we get to bring in things like just more pushes, Maze Mind Tome for card advantage, Aether Gust, because a lot of our opponents' threats were green. I feel like we had a really good matchup then. So yeah, against them mid-range creature matchups, I feel like we got a pretty good match. I don't know how we do against aggro. We didn't really play against any Boros or Mono Red, or Gruul is also one that I'd like to see how this does. But having the fatal pushes and Vraska's Contempt, Shadow's Verdicts, and just Languishes as well in the board, I feel like we're going to be okay against Gruul a lot of the time. And the passive life game from Vraska's Contempt is always welcomed. How do you feel it did against Yorion? Because Yorion was the closest we came to a mirror match control. I think it did okay. Like, a lot of the control matchups naturally come down to top decks and how you draw. Our opponent's list is obviously going to be inherently more inconsistent because they're running an 80 card deck instead of a 40 card. So we sort of have a bit of an advantage there, though we can deck easier, but it normally doesn't come down to that. We saw that we had Searchers Canter, which sort of won game 1 for us single-handedly. I don't know if the Yorion lists typically run Searchers Canter. I think most of the time they don't run that. It's just that you're running the Omens and things like that in place. You really want to be able to be blinking. So we have a good card there. And I don't think they're running Torrential Gearhulk. So in my experience, you don't run Torrential Gearhulk. And some of them run Narset as well. But yeah, I felt like we did okay. Maybe it's like 50-50 odds to win that matchup. I feel like we're not unfavoured to win that, which is what is important to note there. And the last game that we played, what did we play again? I cannot remember the matchup. We literally just did it. Oh, the colourless matchup, that was it. Yeah, so I say colourless, it was like mono black. Against the colourless combo list, if we're going with the combo list that I thought it was originally, I think we have probably quite a bad matchup against that. But there's not too much of that running around your best of 3, so you got to play. You can't sideboard and build your deck to beat every deck. So maybe we just take our losses when that comes up. And it's not a complete loss. Like, we have Four.Vs and stuff. Had we have gone to a game 3, I would have definitely been bringing in them Fort Distortions. Maze Mind Tone, I can't remember if we brought that in. Four.Vs, I think we did bring them in anyway. But not a matchup that I think we're necessarily favoured for, but probably slightly unfavoured, but like I said, you don't see much of that going around. And I think that's the first time I've seen the variant of mono black. So interesting to see that. Really fun take on it, I guess. A lot of utility in the mana basis, which is one of the reasons I really like the colourless lists. But yeah, sweet. So that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down below, all the normal stuff. We're going to hopefully go through, if I can put up more videos, some of the other lists at the moment. If we just head over 2 seconds, I guess I'll just post this up for you guys to have a look at as well. But obviously, ton of people played in the championship. And Paulio won the championship as well when I'm looking at the standings right now on the MTG page. So he played an Azorius list, which looks pretty sweet, actually. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. With 4 Teferis, only 1 Narset, 5 board wipes, a Dream Trawler. So I didn't catch his matches when he played them live, so it'll be interesting to see how the list plays when climbing the ladder. Obviously, this went 4-0, and I feel like it didn't just go 4-0, it performed very, very well against the matchups that we played against. But obviously, bear in mind, we started in silver and we're moving into gold, so take it with, like I said, a little pinch of salt. But yeah, like you see, if this is a list you're thinking of building, not sure how it's going to sort of play, then this is how it's going to do climbing the ladder, and obviously you got a fair view for them matchups that we played. But just like I said, rambling now, I will try and shut up and close it down. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay safe.